He got a haircut. He got a haircut? Oh, Reed. Oh, Reed. I like the long hair.
It still looks good.
I know it still looks good because his hair is always going to look good, but I liked the long hair. We got Reed Duke, Huey Jensen, and Owen Turtenwald on your right versus Tristan Newman, Joseph Gatling, and Nicholas Kennedy on your left. We're going to start with the Duke Kennedy matchup, and as we do go, we'll bring the cards up on the screen for you guys for those who aren't familiar. We've also got their deck list in front of us. We'll try to reference those the very best we can, but we are underway. Round number 1 here. Star City Games Open, team sealed in Richmond, Virginia.
So it looks like Reed Duke's lit off Island Swamp, and Nicholas is, it looks blue-white leading off on Plains Island, and I believe that's Capuchin Knight?
Yes, that is the knight that can get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger.
First strike. It's a solid 2-drop that can trade up the curve. Reed Duke answers back with the blue Concordia Pegasus, Sea Chrome Drake, or Sea...
The Sea Coast Drake.
Sea Coast Drake.
So this guy's, as you see Kennedy play a Phantom Warrior, the 1/3 flyer, Concordia Pegasus is basically what it is, just color shifted. It's an interesting card, it's kind of like low power, definitely like a base set card.
But it handles all of the early drops in this format very well. There's not a lot of 3 power guys for less than 4 mana. And, in terms of a guy that blocks down the ground early and has the ability to do something in the late game, I think it has a lot of value. Looks like Reed's missing his 4th land drop here. So he'll be sitting around with the Drake and some mana up. He's got blue spells, he's probably got something going on. A Doomblade for this Phantom Warrior, it looks like.
Now, Doomblade is an uncommon in this
yes.
set. And the common removal spell in black, this go around,
yes,
Liturgy of Blood, the 5-mana removal spell, kills something and gives you 3 black mana afterward. Using a Doomblade to trade with a Phantom Warrior, of course, Phantom Warrior being a pretty good card, I think, worth trading. I mean, you're trading uncommon for uncommon on the surface, but is it worth it to use a Doomblade to take care of that? I mean, you're in team sealed, so you can probably expect maybe to see like a Sarah Angel floating around or something of that nature.
Phantom Warrior is going to be, there's a reason the Windbreaks are all uncommon in this set. They're very, very good.
Sure.
So it looks like both players are stuck on 3 lands. Nicholas has a Suntail Hawk added to his board, but this 1/3 is getting pacified to prevent it from holding up these 2 1/1 attackers.
All right, so Kennedy's decided that he wants to just start pushing through. Here comes the Knight, here comes the Suntail Hawk, going to push Duke down to 18 and pass the turn back.
Well, with both players stuck on lands, maybe you want to get a little bit ahead, so moving into the mid-game, whoever's going to get ahead on lands here is probably going to start winning real fast because the power level jumps very, very greatly around 4. But if you both manage to keep up, being ahead on life in the mid-game lets you sort of control the pace of play, control the combat stuff a little bit more. So it looks like there's a Mind Rot from Reed. Unfortunate time to cast Mind Rot, I guess. Both players obviously are going to hit 2 spells, but your opponent's sitting around with a bunch of cards in hand. You're not going to hit 2 awesome spells.
Also, if you're Kennedy here, you're pretty well informed that that's going to be Duke's probably his only play for the turn. I mean, the only other thing you can do is play a land and pass the turn back. So you're working with some pretty good information on what to discard.
This also implies that he doesn't have a lot of action for 3 or less mana because you want to hold the Mind Rot if you had anything else to play, I think. It looks like one of the cards that Kennedy discarded was a Frost Breath.
That's correct.
That card's a good one to talk about. Not quite Blinding Beam as we've been reminded lately, but...
Well, I think everyone... Blinding Beam is this interesting card as you see Kennedy come across for 2, and he actually did finally hit his 4th land drop, so we're probably going to see a spell here.
Trained Condor, the 2/1 that jumps another guy when it attacks.
But Blinding Beam is this card that, it had like this built-up history where, if you didn't play back in 2004, then you don't understand how powerful of a card that was. We got to see it with Modern Masters, everyone realizing how good it is. Frost Breath, as you said, not on the same level, but still a pretty good card.
Yeah,
it's just not Blinding Beam.
So both players have started hitting lands. Reed's stuck off of double blue. He's got triple Swamp Island in play, but Kennedy's now up to 5 mana. He's crashing in with Condor, Knight, and Suntail Hawk, all of which fly right now.
Yep. You see in Kennedy's hand, he has a Fortify over there, and he can, of course, pump with the Knight if he'd like to. And Duke gonna allow him, as you see him have these lands in play.
For 2 damage on that Knight. Yeah. Keep my cards up and see where it goes.
So Duke actually hit his 4th land drop, but actually has nothing. He drew an island this turn now, so he's going to be moving to 5 mana.
Yes. I'm interested to see what Duke has because he hasn't been playing anything. His hand has to be stacked.
Yes.
I'm expecting some Sengir Vampires or similar level. Oh, just a 3-drop. We got a Claustrophobia. Okay. Guess he could be stacked on cancels and Claustrophobias as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Claustrophobia takes down the 2/1 Condor. Another land for Kennedy that leaves him with 4 blue mana, so he can only pump the Knight twice if he plays his land. He opts not to and attacks. Single pump on the Knight. Another pump on the night. Reed Duke's going to drop down to 7, 6.
So let's see what Duke can do to get himself back in this game, because, I mean, he's not under, like, some heavy pressure. There's just 2 1-1s on the table, one of which can pump. You see the Fortify in Kennedy's hand right now,
And it
but
looks like a
he does have to
Celestial
make
Flare
he does
as
have to
well?
make some sort of move here.
Celestial Flare, that's the other card. That's a
Yeah.
nice one.
Yeah.
I notice Kennedy's seen the Mind Rot, and he's now holding his land in his hand to discard. Mind Rot was one of my... That card's just always an interesting one, because if it's playable in the format, playing around that card creates a lot of interesting decision points.
Yeah, there are some formats where, like, especially in a DGR, where Mind Rots were very, very good, and there were multiples of them.
Yes.
Be it Down and Dirty, Purge the Profane. There were a lot of different
Actual
Mind Rots.
Mind Rot.
Yeah, actual Mind Rot was in the format. There were a lot you had to play around, as Duke is going to play the Wall of Frost this turn.
Wall of Frost is going to hold down this Caption Knight, slow down Kennedy's clock a little bit. Even if he Celestial Flares it, this Knight is going to get locked down for another turn.
Yeah.
So it looks like a Water Servant drawn for Kennedy. He's
That's
going
actually a pretty good draw step.
Yeah. He's going to play his land, probably play the Water Servant, leaving up double white.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good draw for him, because now he's able to play 2 spells in 1 turn. As you mentioned, he can Celestial Flare that Wall of Frost to get out of the way. Yeah, it's not the best Celestial Flare in the world, but you do have to get the wall out of the way at some point. And then he can also play a follow-up, and actually a good follow-up in Water Servant.
Especially now that the wall's out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, Water Servant could get bricked by that wall forever. It maxes out at a 6-1, but now it's a 6-1 that's coming right at Reed's face.
So you see the triggers. Everyone's going to make sure everything's good to go here with Wall of Frost. See the judge making sure it's good. So Reed is going to go down to 5, and then you're going to see the Servant in the second main phase. Going to play that is Kennedy and pass the turn back. So Duke, again, still in some trouble. You're facing, right now,
here.
a lethal attack the next turn.
With that Fortify in his hand, even if the Water Servant ends up going down, Duke's on a 3-turn clock to the Suntail Hawk. He's got a lot of options. He's got a lot of cards. Looks like he drew a Swamp. That would put him into Corrupt range on the Water Servant. That would be one of his best plays he could possibly have.
That would be quite a good turn if that's what he can muster. Would turn things around quite a bit. It's just going to be an Archaeomancer. That's going to bring back a Doomblade. Okay, so this is still a very good turn. Yeah.
Archaeomancer isn't necessarily going to stop the beats, but it'll keep things under control.
Now this is a little bit interesting. Kennedy was tapped out. Duke returns the Doomblade, has the mana to cast it to take care of the Water Servant, or potentially the Suntail Hawk, does nothing. Now Kennedy could have a counterspell in negate, in cancel, and whatever. Opening Duke kind of opening himself up to getting that Doomblade countered.
He might be. There's a lot of auras in this format, not necessarily in blue, but there's like Divine Favor and things like that, which are pretty respectable given how important sizing is in this format. But it looks like he's not Doomblading because he wants to chump block with this Archaeomancer.
Okay.
Just get the value out of it there, because it's going to have to chump block the Caption Knight anyways.
Okay, so he is going to Doomblade this. Okay, so I like this play, actually. Blocking, and then, if anything goes wrong, then he's just going to Doomblade it anyway. But he wants to get the block in first, so I actually kind of like that.
Yeah. And even if it ends up as a chump block, it's still chump blocking the Knight because it just pumps right over the top in first strikes. So Duke down to 4. Kennedy has land Fortify in hand, but Duke's going to start taking over this game at this point.
All right, so
he has a Water Servant.
He has his own Water Servant now. He still has to deal with this Suntail Hawk, and there's a Brave the Elements. That's actually a pretty big draw as well.
That's lethal, right?
Yeah, if he's willing if he's willing to pull the trigger, it can be a lethal attack. Yeah.
I would definitely pull the trigger. Even if Reed has a single removal spell, that's putting him to 1, and you're 1 trick away from getting the Knight in for lethal.
So Brave the Elements goes in the stack. Duke gives him pause. Ideally, Kennedy's gonna be naming a blue here to be able to put his eyes through. So, in response to this,
you might have a Disperse.
Yeah, that's the blue card he can have, right? Because that's the unsummon of the format. Okay. Also Frost Breath. Black cards he could have here are, I think, just Doomblade.
Doomblade. He could have Ring Flesh.
Okay.
He could. Let's see here. You think about the black cards in this format. He could have Ring Flesh. You could have a Vile Rebirth to block the Knight.
Okay.
There's a few things in this format. There's less tricks in this format than in other formats, just because of the way that a lot of auras are taking up the common slots.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's less instant speed removal and that sort of thing. Okay.
So there's a few cards you could have.
All right. So Duke says Brave the Elements resolves.
Okay. Pro blue. And now that we're out of Frost Breath range, we're getting Fortify.
Yeah, I'm going to cash in Fortify.
Yeah.
Going to attempt to give +2/+0 attack for lethal. Is it good? Is the question. It is.
So game 1 goes to Nicholas Kennedy.
Game 1, Mr. Kennedy wins over Reed Duke because those players are going to go to sideboard. We're going to cut over to another match here for you guys in just a moment. But that was back and forth. You saw where both players stuck on lands for a little while there and then able to come back. Duke, I think, his hand looked like it was glutted with double blue cards more than having difficult at 4 or 5 mana.
He didn't have the cards to power back into the game. He was just stuck with cards that he couldn't cast that would have been nice a couple turns earlier. Based on game 1, something that I wanted to see out of Duke's sideboard is Shrivel, but it looks like there are none in his sideboard. That card would have been awesome. Suntail Hawk, Capuchin Knight, Train Condor. Shrivel's not always great, but this looks like the matchup where you'd want it.
Yeah, this seems like a nice matchup dependent sideboard card.
Yes. Where
I think then I guess against your maybe your white base decks or your blue base decks, maybe more of your white base decks where Shrivel's really good.
As we talk about this, there's a board state where we have 4 elemental tokens facing down a Child of Night. Shrivel would be great.
Yeah, Shrivel wouldn't be so bad here as we cut to the Turtenwald Newman matchup.
So we've got a black-red mirror going on. We just went the blue mirror to the black-red mirror. Looks like a bunch of elemental tokens from Young Pyromancer are in play, along with a Deathgaze Cockatrice, a 2/2 flying Death Touch for Tristan. Owen's battling back with a Bogru Witch, a Cauldron, Bubbling Cauldron, I believe, and a Child of Night. Both players have a reasonable amount of lands. Owen is stuck off double red, but he's representing solid Corrupt if he has it in his deck.
Yeah.
Owen's a bit down on life, but that Cauldron means that he's not really too afraid of his life total going down.
Well, we see the turn right now is for Newman, so we'll see what Newman can do to kind of get things set up on this turn. You see him on the far part of the camera right now, kind of talking to Turtenwald, trying to get a read on the situation. A Senior Vampire has been removed for him, so he's trying to figure out if the race favors him, what to attack with, how many elemental tokens to attack with, and if he's going to leave that Cockatrice back on defense.
One of the things also to consider, Owen has a Festering Newt in his graveyard, and we have to figure out on Tristan's side, does my opponent have another one? Do I want to play around that getting drained forward in some way? Plus the neg one on it.
Yep.
So,
all very rare, real
There
things.
is that witch in play. It will find it. We know over here that Owen only has 1 Festering Newt in his deck, but that card is the Cauldron Newt Witch combo is kind of scary. I like Soul Feasts, I like Lava Axes, and being able to just tutor them up and have access to the Cauldron effect to gain life. The first time I read Cauldron, I always thought it was game 1, it's there's a card from Dissension that does something like that. Read it again, gain 4 per sec. That's a significant swing.
Yeah.
Cashing in some bad creatures like gain to prevent a race.
Now, this is a Shadowborn Demon.
Taking down that Bogru Witch. It looks like we had life totals swapped here. So Tristan was the one who was a bit behind. Life totals are 5 on Tristan's side to 19 on Owen's side.
All right, so Tristan's the one that's trying to mount the comeback here.
Yeah.
And for Turtenwald, one card that you would think he could draw is a Corrupt, but he doesn't have one. He's actually just going to Active Treason and take that Shadowborn Demon, and it looks like he's going to go for the win.
That is lethal.
You want to take a look at Active Treason?
Active Treason, another card that's great with this Cauldron.
Yeah.
Sack Outlet plus Threaten, the old combo. Looks like Tristan's sitting on 2 mana up and a Doomblade, but that doesn't really stop a demon.
Ironically enough, when you're in as Newman is going to have to concede the game to that lethal Active Treason, when you're in the black-red mirror or black-based mirror, Doomblade, arguably the best removal spell in the format.
Yes.
Not so much here.
No, not at all. It does take down red cards, but it looked like Owen was just mono black splash red.
He is base black. Yeah, he has
12 5 mana base.
He has a very small red splashes. Actual red splashes for 3 Active Treasons.
I like that. He's only got the 1 Cauldron, but I'm assuming he's got some Blood Barons.
Yep, he got 2 of those.
Blood Baron.
Yeah, not Blood Baron of his yeah.
I really hope that card never sees constructed play. I really hope.
Well, it'll make my job more difficult, that's for sure. Blood Baron of Escopa, Blood Baron. But yeah, he does have multiple sacrifice outlets for his 3 Active Treasons, and that first Active Treason actually gets the game done there. So Turtenwald's going to be up a game in his match. Looks like we're going to cut back, I think, to Reed Duke land. As you guys can see it in the bottom left-hand corner. He's got some lands out here. He is going to be behind a game against Nicholas Kennedy.
He's already under the gun this game. Nicholas looks like he played a Phantom Warrior on 3 and a Water Servant on 4. Water Servant's getting Claustrophobia.
A pretty good target for that.
Reed stuck off double black this game, but he's hit all his land drops. Both players. Looks like Nicholas just hit his second white source, but that's getting a Illusory Armor on the Phantom Warrior. Illusory Armor is one of the really interesting cards of this set that I'm not sure how good or bad it is. I think it's probably fine. But there's a disperse killing the Phantom Warrior. Oh, really?
It's going to bounce. So illusionary armor, it doesn't kill the creature.
Doesn't kill the creature.
No,
it kills the armor.
It kills the armor.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's got the illusion effect, but the illusion effect is on the armor. The only reason I know this is because I actually played in a midnight draft 2 nights ago, where I actually had multiple illusionary armors in my deck. You guys see it on the screen right now. +4/+4 for 5 mana, and when enchanted creature becomes a target spell ability, you have to actually sacrifice the armor. So it is an investment. The question is it actually going to last? Because it's not like the Phantom Dragon and stuff like that.
There's a lot of cards like Ring Flesh or that can just randomly take it
There
down.
are so many cards that make that card poor, but if you can exhaust your opponent's cards and then make it so you don't have any more of those targeted effects, then you can actually get the game done very quickly.
After that disperse, Nicholas fires back with an Archaeomancer on the armor and a Suntail Hawk.
So kind of putting Reed to the test again to make him have a removal spell or some sort of targeting effect for the illusionary armor, putting on the Suntail Hawk, making it a 5/5 flyer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, if he can answer the armor and the warrior with it. These 1/1s and 2/2s aren't going to be holding down the fort that great, but looks like Reed is just lots of islands, might be stuck with some double black spells.
You take a look at Reed's mana base. He has 10 islands, 8 swamps. He's an 18 land deck. When you look through a blue deck, you kind of look for some card drawing. Does he have a card like Opportunity? No. Divination? No.
Ooh.
So he actually doesn't have very
18
much in
lands
the way
and
of
no
card
card draw.
drawing. Yeah.
So it looks like... Oh, that's a Ring of Wishes. That's what that card is. So Reed Duke's going to be tutoring up most likely Doomblade to take down the Suntail Hawk and armor combo.
What are your thoughts on Ring of Wishes?
I think it's very good in this format. I think that these games are going to go long. I think that having the ability to tutor up 3 cards is basically the same as being able to tutor up any number of cards, because you probably have about 3 cards in your deck that you really want.
Sure. Most of the cards are pretty replaceable, but there are some very, very good effects, actually.
Yes. I think Ring of Wishes is awesome. I think that Reed has it in a nice spot, especially with Disperse. That's a cute combo that we can set up.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
This is his card drawing spell. We were just talking about he's light on card drawing. This is what his game plan is for that. This is how he's getting ahead.
So there you guys do see Ring of 3 Wishes on the screen. Mythic Rare, a powerful one if you can actually get it online and get everything going. This is a heavy investment to begin, heavy investment to actually tutor. But if you get this engine online, especially in sealed, it seems very, very difficult to beat. As you see Doomblade actually take care of that Suntail Hawk. So Duke actually has Ring of 3 Wishes going right now. He can actually, search for ways to be able to make sure that he doesn't die, and then search for ways to kill his opponent.
This is like the Ring of 3 Wishes theme deck. We've got Disperse. We can bounce our ring on the last wish, and then we can Disperse. Then we can play it again, and we can get Archaeomancer, and we can get back to Disperse. Like, this ring is not going to run out of wishes. He's just wishing for more wishes.
Which is what I would do if I could find a genie. Or a Ring of 3 Wishes. I would wish for more wishes. Here comes Archaeomancer.
Coming in, Reed down to 15, but he's hit his second Black Source. He can cast basically anything. Nicholas just as a trained Condor for follow-up, and Reed's going to start getting some powerful cards and taking over this game.
Yeah, so this is actually... Theme deck is actually the best way to describe this, because I was looking through Reed's deck to figure out, okay, after he has Ring of 3 Wishes going, does he have something insane to tutor for? The answer is yes. Said card is Rise of the Dark Realms.
Oh.
So
that's a good one.
He's the full-on control deck with like Ring of 3 Wishes to generate an advantage if you can get it online, and then you see Rise of the Dark Realms on the screen there to bring everything back to him to be able to kill the opponent.
Liliana Vessa's ultimates.
Yes.
9 mana, approximately value. Owen's also got a bit of a theme deck. He's got the Black-Red Witch Sacrifice deck.
Yeah.
I want to see what theme deck he has.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to cut over to him. He is up a game right now, but we're going to see how this particular game is going to play out. And you see another activation there of the ring after Kennedy does play a Trained Condor. Swamp for Duke, and now he's reaching for mana.
4 mana. Rod of Ruin.
Rod of Ruin, okay.
That's the shrivel that we were looking for in this matchup.
All right, so we'll talk about Rod of Ruin for a moment here.
Yeah. Rod of Ruin takes down the Condor.
It's super slow.
Super slow.
And a heavy mana investment.
There's not a lot of good one-power creature or one-toughness creatures in this format necessarily. There's a lot of this format's all about the 4s and 5s, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of 2 4s and 3 5s and flying guys, but Rod of Ruin, can maybe help you trade up, but in this matchup, that is the card you want. So Solemn Offering, we've got a debate. Can we beat this Rod of Ruin? We definitely can't beat this Wish ring, but at the same time, we've fired off 2 wishes already.
And he's taking out Claustrophobia instead, so he wants his Water Servant back to be able to try to get the job done here.
I feel like Reed Duke can just wish for an answer.
I feel like I'm with you there. I think trying to trying to save Water Servant is a little bit ambitious to me.
I think that's It's hoping that your opponent doesn't have anything when he can pick up his deck and find whatever he wants.
Yes, yeah.
And like Nicholas knows about Archaeomancer, right? He knows it because Reed played it last game. He knows that Reed can start. I don't know if he's realized it, but he knows that Reed can start looping. Yep, there's a Liturgy of Blood. Oh my gosh, so good because he's got the Sync for mana in the ring right there.
Oh my goodness, it's a literal actual dream come true.
Is that a Ratchet Bomb you got over there?
So he is going to play a Ratchet Bomb and pass the turn back. A card that's not in Duke's main deck. It's actually in his sideboard, and he boarded in this matchup, which I actually like.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, he's playing against an aggressive deck. Reed knows that he is the control deck in this particular situation, so he boards that in and plays it off of the Liturgy mana.
I'm almost surprised Ratchet Bomb isn't main. I think that card's really sweet. I guess the reason that he would be avoiding it is because he has the claustrophobias. I expect that Ratchet Bomb's kind of a card that you want on 3. Getting into 4 is a little ambitious.
So there's a Phantom Warrior to attack with a Suntail Hawk, so passing the turn back here.
It's the Archaeomancer, right? Reed's down to 9. Phantom Warrior taken down.
See a counter put on that Ratchet Bomb and passing the turn back. So Duke's going to draw a card. We apologize for the technical difficulties for you guys with the blurry screen. We're getting our cameras fixed so you guys can get a better viewing experience at home for you. But we'll try to keep up the action best we can as Duke does play a swamp and just pass the turn back.
Does he still have a counter on that ring?
I do not believe that's the case.
Interesting.
He's just going to take some damage here.
Yeah. He ran out of wishes, and I'm shocked.
He's not out of disperses, though.
Yeah, he has the Archaeomancer. Yeah. That's what he's looking for.
He's got 2 Archaeomancers and 1 Disperse in his deck. He actually has a Disperse, in his sideboard as well. So
in the control mirrors, we can just set up to have all of the wishes forever.
Yeah.
Reed's picking up Kennedy's graveyard, trying to figure out what's going on. It looks like we're going to hop over the Turtenwald while we solve these camera difficulties.
Yeah. You see in the middle there, too, between Jensen and Gatling, Jensen has won the match 2-0, so he's able to help Duke in this situation. Yeah. Also able to help Turtenwald if necessary, but we're going to jump over to Turtenwald, who is up a game again. He has got his mono black deck splashing 3 Active Treasons with plenty of sacrifice outlets. One of the sacrifice outlets we didn't even talk about is the Vampire Lord.
The Vampire Warlord?
Yeah, the Vampire Warlord as well. So there's actually quite a few sacrifice outlets in this format.
Looks like Tristan's got some red rares going on here. Chandra's Phoenix died to Quag Sickness, but we've got a Mind Shrieker? Or Mind... I'm sorry, I don't know the names. It's a 3/2 first strike, and whenever Owen plays a white or blue instant, he takes 2 damage, but...
And that is the Mind Sparker.
Mind Sparker.
Yes.
Yes. And looks like Owen's got the Cauldron, and he's got a Gnawing Zombie. But looks like both players are missing land drops over here. So we've got an early game battle going on.
Not the first time we've seen this happen.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, there Tristan hits a land. Comes in with the Mind Sparker.
It's a pretty good card too.
Yeah, I mean, even without the trigger ability doing anything here, 3/2 first strike is pretty impressive in this format.
Especially in when you're looking at a core set format.
Yeah.
Where the cards are kind of underpowered. I mean, this is of course a rare, but when we're looking at 3/2 first strike for 3, you would play that every time.
Yeah.
With no other text.
So something else that's really interesting is that in this matchup, the creatures tend to be a little smaller in these like black-red matchups.
Yeah.
There's a lot of giant spiders and pillar field oxes against like white decks, like armored Cankrixes against blue. But black-red, there's not that many big guys. But I think black, if I remember correctly, didn't have anything bigger than a 2/2 up until the 6th slot.
Jeez.
So there's the Minotaur Abomination, and everything else is just 2/2s, 3/2s. So Undead Minotaur, half of the Abomination. It's still not enough to get in the way of this Mind Sparker. Tristan's hit his black mana, so Owen's still stuck on 3. Racing back with a Gnawing Zombie, but looks like a Chandra's Outrage is going to take down this 2/3. I think that was a little aggressive there.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly wants that thing out of the way. Outrage.
Oh, he's going to
get back to Phoenix.
There
okay, so yeah, I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, that's much better.
You see a Lava Axe there in Newman's hand as well, so he's got some reach. And
he's got a Thunder Strike too?
Yeah, he's got the Phoenix right now.
Yeah, he's just trying to count to 20, and before this Cauldron, before this Zombie get online. He's definitely in range of doing it. Looks like his last card is the Death Gaze Cockatrice.
Okay.
So
it needs a swamp, but right now ahead on the board, feeling pretty comfortable, and Turtenwald's job is to catch up here.
Yeah. Active Treason takes the Mind Sparker. He's got the land for the Cauldron. So it looks like Owens successfully reversed the board.
Yeah, he's catching up. He is certainly catching
3
up.
mana, kill a guy, gain 4, 3 to them. You know,
The Cauldron is really good.
yeah. The Cauldron is much better than I thought at first glance.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot more work.
And if your deck can abuse it, which it looks like Turtenwald's deck can, I mean, his deck, for all intents and purposes, is just an active treason deck.
Yes.
That's what his deck is. And we'll see how many. I want to see how many Cauldrons
He
he
has
has
one.
in his deck. He has one. Okay.
But he's got a witch.
Sure, so he can actually find
He
it.
basically has 2.
Does he only have one witch? I just want to check to make sure we're not looking at a double Bogru brew.
Just one Bog Brew.
Oh.
Just one Bog Brew.
He's got 2 altars reaps in his deck too for these active treasons.
Goodness.
He's the active treason theme deck. I like this. I like where this is going.
So, looks like we're gonna crack in with this Phoenix.
Young Pyromancer was the draw for Newman this turn. That's what he's going to play and pass the turn back.
So, something interesting to note, I'm just looking at these deck lists here. No one's playing white on this team.
Yeah,
I think we'll talk a bit about deck construction decisions a bit later. but-
absolutely. I mean,
So,
because there's a
worth
lot of
noting.
there's a lot of breakdown to be
Yeah.
had. But yeah, you do see that no one is playing white on this team right now.
Yes. So Owen's starting to hit his land drops, and Tristan's slowing down a bit. He's got the Phoenix. He's got Young Pyromancer. He's stuck on 4 lands and a Starbucks, but
Yeah. We can't forget about the Lava Axe and the Thunderstrike that's in his hand, as Turtenwald is reaching for some mana yet again here.
that's another act of treason, taking down the 2-1.
Jeez.
Yeah, taking the 2-1 over the Phoenix because the Phoenix is likely to rebuy. Tristan dropping down to 11, and the question is Owen gonna Cauldron and go up to 14, or is he gonna zombie and deal a damage? Looks like he's. Is this a Newt?
Yeah, that is a Newt.
I don't think. Yeah.
It's a Newt, and he's going to sacrifice the Young Pyromancer. He's going to give himself some life. Yeah, so these threatens are actually just
I
these
think that's
threatens
actually
are
a
shots and
Tenacious
removal
Dead.
spells.
That's a Tenacious Dead,
Okay.
I believe. So Tenacious Dead's really good with Cauldron too. We've
Yep.
got that theme going on. We can Altars Reap, get it back, just keep rebuying this guy. You know, it's not quite Drudge Skeletons, it's more expensive, but these are the kind of interactions that it enables.
And this is kind of, the hallmark of Team Sealed, where, you're able to build the decks in such a way that they are very, theme-oriented.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you have such a large card pool, you can build your decks in such a way just to abuse all of these synergies where you
Right.
normally couldn't in just a normal Sealed or a draft.
So Owen now ahead on life. It looks like a Xanthrid Necromancer for Tristan, but he's now down 11 to 12 to Owen when he was up, 20 to 8 a couple turns ago.
Yeah,
This
ahead of- he was
this
ahead on the
Cauldron and
board.
these active treasons have taken this game right back into Owen's hands. Now, keep in mind that Tristan is holding a Lava Axe,
Yep.
so he only has to count 7 more damage in. It's going to be difficult with the Cauldron and the Gnawing Zombie to get through all the rest of the points, but Lava Axe is a strong magic card.
So Turtenwald has drawn his card for the turn. He's considering his options here. He's got to balance his life total in the situation he's in. Also, trying to figure out what Newman has in his hand right now for Turtenwald, because he hasn't hit his 5th land drop. There's a lot of different 5-mana spells you can try to put your opponent on in this situation.
It could also be double black spells. He has a 5-mana spell and a double black spell,
Yep.
as we know. Tristan did start this game off with no swamps on turn 4 after missing a land drop. So that's a very legitimate thing. He just had that double black spells in his hand.
And also,
Sager Vampire.
if you're Turtenwald, you're casting all these active treasons. There's no reason to believe that Newman doesn't have one somewhere within his deck as well. So you want to kind of be cognizant of that fact. Make sure I don't drop like a huge threat and then have it get taken and
Yes.
attacking me.
And also, you have to balance the rest of your removal because you've run 2 active treasons out there.
Mhm.
That looks like a Bog Brew Witch.
Yep.
We're going to see the Festering Newt come in, and Owen's going to start the Drain Life beatdowns. Tristan draws another 5-drop, Pitchburn Devils.
Pitchburn Devils, yep.
His hand now is Thunderstrike, Pitchburn Devils, Death Gaze, Cockatrice, and Lava Axe.
You see Newman analyzing the board, seeing, do I have any good attacks? Is there anything great that I can really do here? I mean, Xanthrid Necromancer is a pretty strong magic card, but at the end of the day, this is a 2/2 for 3 mana
Yeah.
in this particular matchup and in this particular format. And how much can it actually get done in this position? It looks like the answer is not a ton.
Yep, this 1/3 Gnawing Zombie is really just going to hold the fort.
You see William Jensen there, kind of taking a look over at Reed's match right now, helping him as Reed is down a game. Huey's already gotten the job done for his team, and Turtenwald looks like he is kind of turning the corner here.
Yeah, it looks like Turtenwald's got a pretty commanding lead on this game right now. His life total is going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
And Tristan was definitely the beatdown, and now Owens. establish control.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, the Cauldron has gone a long way into doing
Yeah.
that.
The Cauldron, without that, Owen would be at 8 life. Without that 8 life gained off the 2 activations. And it's going to be stretched even further with this Tenacious Dead.
And I mentioned Active Treason just a moment ago, but Turtenwald can play the game in such a fashion that he can always just leave mana up to sacrifice a guy to the Cauldron, so he doesn't get Active Treason. He actually has the benefit of that.
3 random removal spell's a thing, but it's better than dying. Letting your opponent have 2 in a red kill a guy.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a Child of Night, even more life gain for Owen.
Yep.
No Sanguine Bond in the sideboard here.
So nice of him.
Yeah.
Put that on the board. There's a 5th land for Newman, but it is not a swamp, so he does have 5 mana. Lava X is online, as is the Pitchburn Devils. But I mean, playing a Pitchburn Devils right now, you're probably
it's
thinking,
a little risky.
You're probably thinking he probably doesn't have another Active Treason, does he?
That's
He's
true.
already
2 of them
played
are in the
2?
graveyard. The Chandra's Phoenix did not get in there. Interesting.
And he is going to search for the Festering Newt.
Yeah, I think Tristan's kind of realizing that he's got to run Owen out of cards, and maybe you can get in some damage with the Phoenix. Maybe you want to try and chip shot away, but at this point in time, that Cauldron means that 2 damage isn't necessarily going to be enough to chip away at his life total.
Yeah. So Turtenwald goes a reaching. He's coming across into the red zone.
It's very likely that he's going to try and trade the Phoenix and then use the Lava Axe as a way to get back cards. So Altar's Reap, Tenacious Dead comes back. Owen's just paying 2 mana to draw 2.
Yeah.
Ran in the Tenacious Dead just as, just a spot check, just to get a block.
Yeah, it's basically, attempted a free point of damage.
Yeah.
Is what that was.
Yeah, so I think Tristan's, with that Phoenix, not attacking. I think he's counting using it as a source of card advantage with the Lava Axe. So, you get the 5-him, raise dead, play it again, block down something else. So it looks like Tristan has a Quag Sickness with 1 swamp.
Kind of a frowny face.
It can kill the Tenacious Dead right now, and that's probably something that's pretty important, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Quag Sickness, you look at it killing a Tenacious Dead, you'd probably rather killing something else with that, but desperate times, desperate measures, maybe?
Yeah, and, based on Owen's play last turn, I feel like if he had another Newt in his deck, he probably would have brewed it up.
Sure.
But, it's hard to tell. Tristan might not be thinking that necessarily. Oh, wow, we got a battle here. Maybe he's trying to get a block on the Gnawing Zombie and kill that. That would be something I would think about.
I mean, this is a huge shift in gears here, right? Where, we saw Newman being pretty laid back, not really attacking. Now he draws his card for the turn. Now he's sending everything into the red zone here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
This is basically saying, of course, Turtenwald, he may or may not know that there's a Thunderstrike over there if he's read Newman for that card, but this is Newman basically announcing, I have a combat trick, or I want to force through damage, and I need to kind of slow your board down a little bit.
Yeah, the weird thing about this, in my mind, is that Owen's got a lot of burn on board. So Thunderstrike's going to keep this Necromancer alive, take down this Child of Night. Like, Owen is sitting here with a Drain 4 off of the Newt, and a Gnawing Zombie, and some power creatures that will now be getting through.
Yeah.
So Tristan's really exposing his life total, especially because Owen has red cards in his deck.
Yep. So you see the activation there of the Cauldron in response to the Thunderstrike. The human token's going to be coming into play here in just a moment, so there that is. Comes into play tapped. Some damage going to come across there from the Phoenix, but again, Turtenwald gaining a little bit of life, getting his life total way out of reach.
The enhanced mode on the Newt, -4/-4 if you control the Witch, right?
Yep.
It's a cute little combo.
I like that design too. I like the small little design between those cards. I think is a lot of fun.
It's one of the things that I really liked when they switched to the sort of M10 style sets. They've really played into that flavor, and that's one of the really good examples from this set.
Yeah. A small thing that you can put together. You see Bogru Witch on the screen. I hope I can only live the dream and put it together in actual booster draft, as opposed to sealed. But I would love to live the dream there.
So it's a little more realistic than becoming the king with crown, throne, and what was the other one of Empires? Crown, throne, and
oh goodness.
Oh my gosh, scepter.
Yeah, the scepter.
of
yeah,
Empire.
the scepter of Empires. Yeah.
Quag Sickness takes down. Looks like Tenacious Dead.
Yep. So Turtenwald coming into the red zone here with the Child of Night and the rest of his creatures.
Yeah, and Gnawing Zombie is going to take down this game, it looks like.
Looks like he's going to go to work, get some damage across. Bang, bang, and bang.
Gnawing Zombie, one of the few cards that can sacrifice itself in this set.
Yeah.
Like Blood Baron can only sacrifice another creature, but I believe there was an article about this where either Sam Stott or Mara wrote, you know, if there's any kind of creature that's sacrificing itself, it's a zombie.
Yep.
That was the 3 flings from the Gnawing Zombie to take it down for Xaxes.
So Turtenwald is going to win that game and that match. He wins over Tristan Newman 2-0. Jensen wins his match. So it's but a formality at this point, as Reed Duke was kind of battling it out there, but we see Kennedy was up a game. Not sure if Kennedy ends up winning the match, but overall, Turtenwald, Jensen, and Duke do win this match 2-1.
Call it in, even if it counts for tie breaks that you went 2 on this round, it's better value just to go take a break, I think.
Yeah.
We had a lot of this debate at Providence, my team. We definitely had a round playing